10 years ago, a routine flight from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing vanished from radar screens, sparking the largest and most expensive search in aviation history. What happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? Today, we're diving deep into one of the greatest mysteries of our time. On March 8, 2014, MH370, a Boeing 777 carrying 227 passengers and 12 crew members, took off without a hitch. The weather was clear, the plane was in perfect condition, and the pilots were experienced. Captain Zahuri Ahmad Shah was a respected veteran with thousands of flight hours. His co-pilot Fariq Abdul Hamid was on his final training flight on the 777. Everything seemed normal. About 40 minutes into the flight, as the plane was over the South China Sea, it was preparing to cross from Malaysian to Vietnamese airspace. The last verbal communication came from the cockpit. "Good night, Malaysian 370. These seemingly routine words would be the last anyone ever heard from the flight. Moments later, the plane's transponder, the device that communicates its position to air traffic control, was switched off. MH370 disappeared from civilian radar. But it didn't just vanish. Military radar tracked the plane for another hour, showing it making a sharp turn back across the Malay Peninsula, deviating completely from its scheduled flight path. It then flew out over the Andaman Sea and disappeared from military radar range. This wasn't a crash. It was a deliberate change of course. The question is, by whom and why? What happened next is pieced together from a series of faint, automated pings. The plane's satellite communication system continued to send hourly signals, or handshakes, to a satellite owned by the British company Inmarsat. These pings didn't contain location data, but by analyzing the time it took for the signals to travel, investigators could estimate the plane's distance from the satellite, creating vast arcs of possible locations. The final ping was received more than 7 hours after takeoff, placing the aircraft somewhere along a massive arc in the southern Indian Ocean. This led to a colossal multinational search effort covering an area of the ocean floor the size of a country. For years, ships equipped with sophisticated sonar scoured the remote, deep waters west of Australia. They found nothing. Not a single piece of the main wreckage. It was like searching for a needle in a haystack, except the haystack was miles deep and constantly moving. The official search was eventually suspended in January 2017, leaving families in the world without answers. So what are the leading theories? The first and most prominent is the pilot-suicide mass murder theory. This hypothesis suggests that Captain Zahari deliberately depressurized the cabin, rendering the passengers and crew unconscious before flying the plane to a remote corner of the ocean. Proponents point to a flight simulator found in his home, which had plotted a similar route into the southern Indian Ocean just weeks before the flight. However, his family and friends vehemently deny this, describing him as a kind and stable man. There's no concrete evidence, no clear motive. It remains a deeply unsettling but unproven possibility. Another theory is a hijacking, but this seems unlikely. No group has ever claimed responsibility, and there were no ransom demands. If the goal was to use the plane as a weapon, why fly it to the middle of nowhere? The meticulous way the communications were disabled suggests a high level of technical knowledge, leading some to speculate about a ghost passenger or a hijacker with expert aviation skills. Then there are the mechanical failure theories. Could a sudden fire or electrical failure have disabled the communication systems and incapacitated the crew? An onboard fire could explain the turn back towards land, a desperate attempt to reach the nearest airport. But it doesn't fully explain the subsequent hours of silent, controlled flight south. A catastrophic event usually leads to a rapid descent, not a 7-hour journey. Furthermore, the Boeing 777 has multiple backup systems, making a complete electrical failure that still allows the engines to run for hours extremely improbable. And, of course, no great mystery is complete without its share of more outlandish theories. Some have suggested the plane was shot down or that it was carrying sensitive cargo that someone wanted to intercept. Others have even floated ideas about remote cyber hijacking, where someone on the ground took control of the plane's systems. While intriguing, these theories lack any credible evidence and are generally dismissed by aviation experts. The only physical proof we have comes from the ocean itself. Since 2015, more than 20 pieces of debris confirmed or believed to be from MH370 have washed up on the shores of Africa and islands in the Indian Ocean like Reunion and Madagascar. A flaperon, a part of the wing, was the first major discovery. Analysis of this and other pieces confirms the plane did indeed crash into the ocean. The barnacles found on the debris even helped scientists narrow down the potential crash zone, suggesting a more northerly area than initially searched. This new data prompted a private search in 2018 by the company Ocean Infinity. They used a fleet of autonomous underwater vehicles to scan a new, high-probability area. But after months of searching, they too came up empty-handed. The mystery endured. For the families of the 239 people on board, the last decade has been an agonizing wait for answers. They've lived in a state of limbo, unable to properly grieve without knowing the final resting place of their loved ones. They have tirelessly campaigned for the search to continue, refusing to let the world forget. Their persistence is a powerful reminder of the human cost of this tragedy. So where do we stand today? 10 years on, MH370 remains aviation's biggest unsolved puzzle, New analysis of old data continues. Some experts believe a new search, armed with better technology and a more refined search area based on drift analysis, could finally locate the wreckage. The Malaysian government has recently indicated it may be willing to resume the search if there is credible new evidence. The disappearance of MH370 fundamentally changed aviation. It led to new regulations requiring commercial aircraft to report their position every 15 minutes and improvements in flight recorder technology, so they can't be so easily disabled and can be located more easily underwater. But until the black boxes, the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder are found, we can only speculate. They hold the key, the final words and the last moments of data that could tell us what truly happened in the skies that night. The story of MH370 is a chilling reminder of the limits of our technology and the vast, untamed power of our planet. It's a story of loss, of enduring mystery, and of a hope that refuses to fade, the hope that one day we will finally know the truth. What do you think happened to MH370? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video interesting, please give it a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries.